Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 5 hearings covering the case of a couple where dad has filed for a TRO due to both harassing phone calls and unexplained injuries on the child after spending time alone in mom's care. Does mom have an explanation for this? Or is she acting as dangerously selfish and entitled as it appears? Let's see what the commissioner will do.
All right, the first thing I have is Mr. Blacklaw is requesting a restraining order. Are you still requesting that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So the way I'm going to handle that is I'm going to place Mr. Blacklaw under oath, and he will tell me why he wants a restraining order entered. And then Ms. Myers, I'll place you under oath, and you'll have a chance to respond. And then Mr. Blacklaw will have a chance to reply to that. And we'll make a decision regarding the restraining order. Then after that, we'll take up whatever other issues you may want to address today, okay? So Mr. Blacklaw, you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What is your full name, please?
Austin Wayne Blacklaw.
All right. And is everything you stated in your petition for a restraining order true and correct?
Yes.
Right. Tell the court why you're seeking a restraining order in this case.
I'm seeking one because she has been trying to get a hold of me, call me nonstop. She's called me over 30 times within a 2-hour period. And she has said she's going to show up to my apartment or my girlfriend's apartment and even stay there all night if she has to. And I do not feel like my daughter is safe in her care because of obvious reasons with the pictures when she had her in her care, that the condition of Hazel when she was in her care was completely unacceptable, and it terrifies me that she didn't try and help her in any way. Didn't try and take her to the hospital, get a hold of anyone, call the cops, anything. And I'm scared if she had her in her possession, what would happen again? Or what could happen. I took her to the appointments, everything. She was bruised, like lacerations. She has a broken arm. I can send you pictures of what happened when I got her back. And she hasn't took her to any of the doctor's appointments or anything like she said she was. And I just feel like she's an unfit and possible hazard to Hazel.
Has there been a report made to CPS about any of this?
Yes. To Ryan Motes and Whitney Keith.
And are they still investigating?
Yes. They've deemed me suitable to have her full time. I can give you both of their informations if you want that too, and they can be a part of the phone call. They've had walkthroughs, safety checkups, everything.
We're gonna see about that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Myers, let me place you under oath, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're coming through a little light. If you could get close to your microphone. What is your name, please?
Dakota Sky Myers.
All right, it's still fairly light. I don't know. Can we turn the volume up on our end? You know, we're going to try and increase the volume here. All right, just speak up and go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not very well.
No? Oh boy. Okay.
Well, when you say, oh boy, we heard that because that was a lot louder. So that's the voice you're
Okay.
gonna have to speak in, okay?
Perfect. My name is Dakota Sky Myers.
Okay, thank you. And what is your, how would you like to respond?
Well, I can say regarding everything that is being against me and accusing me, I have not spoken to nobody. I have not been told nothing. So, regarding everything that's being accused, I don't understand how I can be getting a protection order against my own kid. Yes, I did call him 32 times exactly because he has my daughter and I want to see my kid. He was barely the fuck around. Sorry, excuse my language. He was barely around for her. I took care of her for the first year of her life, day in and day out, when we were together and when we weren't. There were times he would rather go get drunk with his buddies than come home. There were times where I would come home and she was in her crib with a full diaper, not fed, and crying with vomit on her while he was passed out drunk with beers all around him in his mother's house in his bedroom. Numerous accounts. Not only that, I cannot physically trust him when it comes to not abusing our child. He can sit here and negligate the whole time that I'm doing this and all that. But let me just tell you this. Every time I would get her back, I would have to constantly not only take her to her doctor appointments to David Myers at the St. John's Medical Center more than a countless amount of times. He would not physically allow me to give her shots. I had to physically go behind his back to get them done. She would come back to me with so many boils from a diaper rash because she was not being properly taken care of. She was still, after the doctor had specifically ordered that she was to be weaned off formula at 9.5 months, he chose to continue for a year and 3 months to continue giving her formula when it was instructed not to. She was supposed to have lactose milk because she is lactose intolerant. The day I got picked up, it was a 911 call for my own kid. I was suffering from the flu with 103-degree temperature and asked my friend to take care of her for the night so I can get some proper rest. Sorry, this is just like a really big thing. Um, a mother being ripped from her child is not good. It's gonna, I mean, he doesn't have to be afraid of
Ms.
me.
Myers, there, I think, are two concerns. One is that Hazel was returned to the father and she had a broken arm. Do you know anything about that?
No, I do not. And on December 6th, when he decided to get her pictures and stuff done at the Vancouver Medical Hospital, I'm pretty sure, those were completely almost healed. So for some reason, that just doesn't make any sense to me. My daughter came back to me that Sunday at 2 o'clock from the 17th Avenue Park in Lake Sacagawea with bruises on her arms and on her forehead. And not only that, let's not get into the whole case of him still not properly taking care of her with her diaper changes and feeding her actual food. He would constantly leave her with his mother and other people while he chose to go out and do other things. That is my main concern. And not only that, just 2 months ago, a person who was also living in their home, mind you, who I will also be subpoenaing because she asked me that she will do so. She was telling me that constant times when she would come home from work, that there would be diapers not only filing and piling and piling and piling in trash cans in their bedroom, that she was not being properly taken care of. She was crying constantly overnight, not going to her rescue, no, mind you, leaving her there with her night terrors, knowing she has night terrors, leaving her in that room by herself with 2 other kids. Then, when I find out about this and accuse him of it, he finally moves her into his bedroom with her and his little girlfriend. And at that moment, she was starting to notice that every time she was crying, he was just giving her a bottle and putting her in front of the TV. Barely would she ever see him even go out to the kitchen to grab any type of snacks, food, nothing. She wasn't being bathed. She was getting bruises, even escalating even further. And she even showed me even more proof of them still feeding her formula. Because I'm sorry, there should be no reason that there's a can of formula in your guys' house with no kids that are under the age of. End of my case.
The second concern is that you may be staying with or seeing Jeremy Minyard, who apparently pulled a firearm on Mr. Blacklaw. Are you aware of that?
That is not my place to tell. I am not Jeremiah Minyard, so I cannot do that or say so.
Okay.
But
Blacklaw.
I am, yes, living and in a relationship with Jeremiah Minyard, who takes better care of him. Way better.
All right, Mr. Blacklaw, any response?
Yes. With the person that they're friends with, that was living with us at that moment of time, I reported a false report from the calls of CPS because they were talking to each other and basically plotting this. And every time I did take Hazel into CPS so they can do the checkup, because that's mandatory, both times came back perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong. She's being perfectly handled as is. And I can have a can of baby formula laying out. It was actually holding my coffee for the coffee maker, but irrelevant. If you'd like to talk to Ryan Motes and we can get all these details and the facts and evidence that prove that Hazel was in her care when all this went down, that's completely okay. I have pictures, I have proof. He knows everything that went on. It was deemed that she was in her care when she had the broken arm, lacerations, and everything of that sort. I have proof of it. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah,
I've been taking her to the doctors. I've been doing everything I can just to get her back. And she has night terrors since that day. But since then, she has been a lot better. She was very lethargic. She was very lethargic when I got her back. And she was scared of anyone other than me.
It's because she doesn't know any of you and she doesn't like you, dude.
Thank you for that. But
I'm literally trying to rip out of your arm.
Okay. Based on what I've heard here today, and wait till I get to the end of what I'm going to say, I'm going to enter a temporary restraining order. And that in particular requires that Ms. Myers not disturb Mr. Blacklaw, not go to his home or workplace, vehicle or school, and to remain 1,000 feet away from his home, vehicle or workplace or school. It also requires that she stay away from Hazel, but I would like to have either telephone or video visits with Hazel. And I'll tell you the kind of the time frame on this. I don't think it makes sense for you to call each other. For that is there somebody, Mr. Blacklaw, that Hazel could be with that Ms. Myers could call in order to have video visits?
yes, that's possible.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about video quite yet, but I can try and work on that.
Okay. Yeah, obviously you need the equipment to do that. I would like to have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week. And Mr. Blacklaw let Ms. Myers know who she could call to do that and the times that that person would be available with Hazel for her to do that. I don't think it's appropriate to completely cut off Ms. Myers' contact from Hazel. Okay. So on the restraining order, I'm going to add that Ms. Myers will have telephone and or video visits 2 times a week.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go on and tell you a couple more things.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, I'm going to appoint someone who's called a guardian ad litem to investigate the parenting situation in this case. There's been allegations made by both of you about the other, and the court needs a third party to discuss all that with each of you and advise the court. And their focus is what's in the best interest of Hazel. Okay. And that's what the court needs. So I'm going to, usually we have 3 names. If you were attorneys, you'd get to strike a name, but we'll hear the 3 names and then I'll indicate who will be appointed.
Amy Turnbull, Vashon Langford, or Ann Heights?
Who was the first one?
Amy Turnbull.
Oh, Amy Turnbull.
I'd prefer, Your Honor.
All right, so the names were Amy Turnbull, Vashti Langford, and Ann Height. Do either of you know any of those folks?
No, Your Honor.
Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Myers.
Ann Heights?
You know Ann Height?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so based on that, I'm not going to appoint her, but we would typically appoint the first person on the list. So that's going to be Amy Turnbull.
Okay.
She will reach out to you and we'll need to get some information from you. Now, in terms of paying for it, the initial order will have you each pay 1/2 of her actual costs. She can charge, well, she'll tell you what her hourly rate is. If you feel you cannot afford that because your income is low, you can file a declaration of your financial status and ask me to have the court have the county pay. Okay, but you'll need to file a declaration of your financial status first to do that.
Okay.
All right, so I've signed, well, let me make sure I signed it here. Just a minute.
Is there any possible way to get Ryan Motes, the CPS worker, involved?
You'll have to talk to him. Whether I'm sure Ms. Turnbull will reach out to him to talk to him. He can also file a declaration in the case if he wants to. It's going to be up to him. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. I've signed the restraining order. As I've indicated, I appointed Ms. Turnbull as the guardian ad litem. I'm ordering telephone or video visits twice a week between Ms. Myers and Hazel. Are there any other issues that we need to address today?
The only thing I have a question on regarding what he had just said about the CPS, Ryan Moats. I was also informed that it was transferred from Washington into Columbia County here in Oregon. I was wondering if you know exactly who that might be, if it's not Whitney.
That's something I would not know.
I do. That would be the police investigation. It was turned over to Columbia County because she and everything that happened would be where she lives in Rainier, Oregon. And Whitney Keith is the CPS worker in Vancouver. Ryan Moats is the one that works in Longview.
Longview. Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, is there another CPS worker in Vancouver that you know of? Do you know a name?
There was another one. I'd have to track her info down. I might have it in my wallet. Shouldn't stick around
Or,
long.
you
Other
can.
thing I wanted to discuss as well, if possible. I have a lot of pictures and stuff that are in a tote and hanging on his wall in his mother's house in his room. I need those back. Those are my ultrasound pictures, and a couple other like important things are in that box.
Okay, so let me let you know a couple things. First of all, you should show those to the guardian ad litem when she gets involved.
Okay.
Second of all, if you want the court to consider any of that, you'll need to file it with the court. And we usually do that what we call under seal, which means it's not open to the public. And you'll need to provide a copy to Mr. Blacklaw.
Okay.
And then finally, you can offer those to the CPS investigator. If you're concerned about Mr. Blacklaw's conduct towards Hazel, you're free to ask CPS to open their own investigation into his conduct. Okay. So those are kind of the array of choices that you have. You can do one or more of those, right?
Sounds good. Thank
Okay,
you.
we need to set a review date. And I think I'm going to go 3 weeks out. So that would be February 15th.
What time?
And it'll be 9 o'clock, just like today. And it will be on Zoom, just like today.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And with these,
All right, we'll see you back here then. And I want to make sure that Ms. Turnbull has been able to contact both of you.
with these televised visits or phone whatever visits, does that start next week on Monday? And
Well, right now I'm going to leave it to the two of you or to whoever you're going to utilize to be with Hazel to contact Ms. Myers and pick 2 convenient days a week to do that.
okay.
All right. I'm hoping you can do that. If you can't, then I'll define it on the 15th. But without knowing anybody's schedule, it doesn't make sense for me to say, you know,
Right.
this that date because I'm bound to pick an inconvenient time. So
I get a new schedule every week, so I understand.
Okay. So let's, you know, it'd be good if you could pick particular times during the week so everybody can count on it. But I want that to be at the convenience of the parties. All right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you back here on the 15th. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Your
very
Honor.
much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
We have both here, and also Ms. Turnbull. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
We're here on a review hearing. I had ordered telephone visits 2 times a week, and I did enter a restraining order. last time we were together. Mr. Blacklaw, have the telephone visits been occurring? Mr. Blacklaw is left us. Oh, there we are. Mr. Blacklaw, can you hear me? Well, let's start with Ms. Turnbull. Have you been in touch with the parties?
I have been in touch with the party, and I originally, there had been no contact with the telephone visits. I reached out a second time to Mr. Blacklaw again last week, and he was under the impression, he told me that he needed to pay me and complete the paperwork before he initiated those telephone calls. And I said, no, that was not the case, that he could go ahead and have a third party, go ahead and initiate that. And so he sent me a text and said that that Ms. Myers had contact, phone contact or video contact with Hazel. And so I'm aware of at least one contact last week, and I'm not sure if there's been more.
Okay. Yeah, the order that reflects that was filed on January 25th.
Yes.
Ms. Myers, can you confirm that telephone or video contact has occurred?
Yes, he has gotten in the.
You're really light. You'll need to speak up or get closer to your microphone.
Yes, he has let me have contact with my daughter 2 times. One was on Friday for 5 minutes, and the other one was 2 days ago on Monday for about 25.
Okay. All right. I want those visits to continue. And I see in the schedule that we're due to come back on March 1st for a report from the guardian ad litem. Is that going to be enough time, Ms. Turnbull, to at least advise the court of how things are going, or do you need more time?
I can give I have talked to CPS. I can give you some initial information, but I have not received paperwork back from either mother or father. I emailed them about a little over 2 weeks ago, so they've had it in their possession for about 2 weeks, and I asked them both to return it to me prior to today's hearing. So I don't have that back, so I may need more time. Yes. I can tell you that based on my conversations with, 2 different CPS investigators on both cases, that that Hazel is safe with Dad right now, and okay. So that's good news.
All right, I need both parties to return the background information paperwork to Ms. Turnbull. I'm not going to be able to make additional decisions in this case until she can complete her investigation. All right, so do that as soon as possible. Let's set the next hearing out to March 15th. I want to make sure Ms. Turnbull has enough time to talk to everybody. And I want the video visits twice per week to continue during that time. All right, Mr. Blacklaw, will that work with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have the paperwork all filled out, other than just the initial house come from the other, my significant other. So I can get that filed out and done.
Okay, good. Thank you.
One other thing, Your Honor.
The sooner that gets done, the sooner we can go forward in this case.
Yeah, I was in the process of finding a printer.
Okay.
And
one other thing, Your Honor, both Mom and Dad had expressed concern about payment, and I don't know if I had suggested that they file a declaration or a motion and financial disclosure about potentially moving this to a county pay case. So that's something that may need to be evaluated.
If you feel you cannot personally pay for Ms. Turnbull or the guardian, then I do need to see a financial declaration, and you can get a form from the clerk's office. This is for both parties, and file that. And on the 15th, I can look at that. And if you qualify, then it's possible the county can pay. But I can't make that decision until I see that declaration. And if you want to give that declaration to Ms. Turnbull and she can forward it to me, I can make that decision possibly before the 15th. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, so things are going to stay the way they are then, and I'll see everybody back here on March 15th. And we'll strike the hearing of that's on for March 1st. Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
All right, you're going to have to speak up again. You're coming in really, really light.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you said for video chats twice a week. Is that, can you clarify if possible? Because the last time it was phone call and video. Is it video now? Because I would honestly prefer video over phone call, because my daughter can barely even understand me or see me or even know who I am. So the video calls would be a lot easier for my daughter to know who she's talking to, because I'm getting like the bare minimum on phone calls to talk to my kid, and it's not okay after not seeing her and being completely ripped from my daughter. So
All right, I'm sorry to do this, but with the speaker here in the courtroom, it was really difficult to hear. Ms. Turnbull, you may have been able to hear better on your end. What was her question, please?
Ms. Myers is requesting that that the contact with her daughter going forward is through video chats or video contact versus phone calls, because it's easier for her and her daughter to communicate through video versus the phone calls.
yeah,
Mr. Blacklaw, any concern about doing this through video?
We are trying to get the Zoom thing and everything downloaded on my mom's phone so she can do the video chat and everything, because I can't do it through my phone because of the restraining order. So I have to go through my mom, and she's tracking down an old computer and then making it work.
Okay, and then you can provide the link or the Zoom link or whatever program you're going to Ms. Myers. I'd like that to be accomplished in the next week so that all the visits after that can be by video. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So Ms. Myers, we're going to do our best to have those be video visits going forward.
okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think that's it on that case. We'll see you back here on March 15th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Next is Austin Blacklaw and Dakota Myers.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right. Looks like I had ordered telephone or video visits twice a week. How have those been going, Mr. Blacklaw?
They've been doing pretty well as far as I know.
Okay. Ms. Myers?
Well, I have a whole nother opinion on that.
You're coming through really light, so I'm going to ask you to speak up a little bit.
Can you hear me better?
Better, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I have another opinion on that.
Okay,
Normally, these visitations are supposed to last normally an hour or so. They last maybe 6 minutes. Sometimes a range to 25 is as long as they'll go. My daughter's span of paying attention, I guess, is like in a fragments of times when she gets super tired. So I'm not sure if they're purposely doing this to where she only wants to talk to me for a short amount of time and then rip the phone away, or what's going on, because I'm pretty sure we agreed it was supposed to be every Tuesday and every Friday, but I have only talked to my daughter over video chat 4 times. Well, sorry, 3. This last time, that was my bad. I wasn't home. But I did call her. So, I'm not really sure if he's making excuses for the times that he wants to go to his mother's to drop her off. But it's seeming
me?
like he's just not taking the initiative to do it on time. There were numerous amount of times where it was because the snow or this, which is understandable. But when I can drive through woodland, in a little car perfectly fine. It's fine. I'm pretty sure he can drive in little bitty snow because I've seen him drive in worse. So that was an excuse. Secondly, when I do talk to my daughter, she is normally present, which is his mother, which is understandable because of the situation, but constantly trying to take the phone from my daughter because she can't hear me or see me or this and that, and constantly trying to fix the phone is a massive problem. So obviously this video chatting isn't working. So is there any other way we can do in-person visitations? Because if the phone call, the video chatting isn't working, what can we do?
okay, thank you. Let me hear from Ms. Turnbull. Have you had a chance to speak to the parties?
I have. Mr. Blacklaw has returned his paperwork. I have had an interview with him. I've had a Zoom, visit in his home. I've seen Hazel. I've interviewed some of his collaterals. Ms. Myers has not returned her paperwork. She has had over a month to do so. She's been in communication that she's trying to. I've given her very direct information about how to do so. She has not done so. So that is where things stand with Ms. Myers. I have spoken with a number of collaterals and CPS, and I have some very serious concerns about how the child abuse that occurred to Hazel while she was in the care of Ms. Myers. It was extreme and very concerning.
Mind you, Your Honor, these are accusations and there has not been anything filed. And as the person standing right there is going to find out, that those rumors are going to be squashed when they find out that the Sunday I picked her up, that she had red marks all over her body. So let's continue, Austin. We'll figure out who happened there. I have proof on that one. I took pictures the day I got her. So we'll continue that in court.
All right, Ms. Myers, I'm not going to consider in-person visits until you provide the information necessary to the GAL and I get additional reports from the guardian ad litem. So it really is in your best interest to cooperate with her, because I'm not going to consider
times to send that paperwork through. I have contacted the UPS people that she has told me to go to, which I did that. And when I went over there, they told me that they could not find her IP address. So I don't know what else to do. I have tried asking her for a physical address that I can go to, I don't care what the distance is. I have asked. I have tried doing a picture of the actual paperwork.
Do you have Ms. Turnbull's phone number?
I do have her
Make
phone
su-
number.
And you've been in touch with her, I think. Make sure you, well, you need to get her the what she calls a packet, which is information that you need to fill out to get to her. Okay. All right, the order, the restraining order I'm looking at says that there will be 2 telephone visits a week. There's no indication as to how long they will last. We're dealing with a very young child at this point. I understand it's not optimal, but the court's interest is to make sure that the child is safe. And the best way to do that at this point is to keep the telephone visits. Mr. Blacklaw, try to facilitate those the best you can. But if the child gets distracted and doesn't want to talk after 10 minutes, I don't know that anybody can change that, because
She's
your
a year and a
child's,
half. We're
what
gonna
I've got
give her
is
that.
18 months, I guess 18 months old now. So I understand that's difficult, but I can't order, I'm not going to order in-person visits until I get more information from Ms. Turnbull. Okay. Let's come back in a month and see where we're at then. So that will be April 12th.
Is there any way we can get it a later time? Because I'm
Then
going to
9
start
o'clock.
working here soon, and I'm not sure if
These are only heard at 9 o'clock, and I don't know when I'm going to call your case. So I can only set it at 9. There's one other docket on Thursday that's also at 9, but right now, for everybody's purposes, at least at the court, we need to keep it on Wednesday at 9.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see you back here on April 12th at 9 o'clock. And the telephone visits remain in place, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right, next up is Austin Blacklaw and Dakota Myers. And it looks like both of them are here along with Ms. Turnbull. My note indicates that we were going to get an update on the GAL report and where we were at. So Ms. Turnbull, do you want to address that first?
Sure. So a couple issues. One is Ms. Myers has not participated at all, and I did send her a certified mail back in March requesting her participation no later than March 31st if she was going to be included in my report, and I have received nothing, no response from her. So that's where we stand with Ms. Myers' participation. I have received no payment from her. To my knowledge, she has not filed a financial declaration, so I'm not sure how to move forward with that piece of my payment as well. I do have quite a bit of information from police reports, from CPS, from the tribe, from collateral witnesses that were there during or directly after Hazel's abuse, that I feel like I have enough information to move forward with my report. The one thing that has come up that is concerning to me is that Austin was on March 17th arrested for a DUI, and he has some pending charges, 2 felonies, 4 gross misdemeanors, and 1 misdemeanor. And so we are looking at some charges that may, or some possible jail time. And I do not feel comfortable recommending that little Hazel stay with mom. I don't think that's safe. So we need to have a plan B if Austin can't take care of Hazel. I think that my understanding is that Austin has already had a substance abuse evaluation. Is that correct, Austin? And
Yeah.
and is starting treatment. And so I'll be following up on that. But I think that if Austin, needs to be incarcerated, that potentially his mom would be a good caregiver for Hazel in that situation. I also have not received any payment from Mr. Blacklaw.
Ms. Myers, can I talk to you a moment?
Yes, you may.
Do you plan on contacting Ms. Turnbull and
I actually do. Your Honor, it has actually been very hard for me to be able to do anything at this moment in time with my vehicle having massive problems with the engine, so me not being able to find rides due to this whole situation. My family has completely turned their backs on me. I don't have anyone in my corner. The tribe physically can't help me because of the accusations being physically from not only not in Washington anymore, but got moved for the criminal case into Oregon. So my tribe physically cannot help me. My cell phone back in March 28th at exactly 3 o'clock, my phone had fallen out of my pocket when I had jumped into my truck to be able to go to the print station over at Office Max in Longview to be able to print out the paperwork again, to file it again. As of every time that I tried filing it through taking the picture and trying sending it through my Gmail, because it's the only actual contact information that I have right now. Because my phone is down, I am in the process of finding a job as well. I have 2 interviews that I have this coming week. I've had previous interviews that I've been waiting on callbacks for, but the positions always end up filled. I am trying my best, and as of right now, I am trying the damnedest to, sorry, excuse my French, to get her the information that she needs. As of right now, I just honestly, I need help. Is there any way that we could meet in person to fill out the paperwork?
I have a suggestion in a moment. Let me ask you one other question. I had allowed telephone visits twice a week. Have those been occurring?
Not really, no. Every time we get the chance to, either the video calling messes up or we're always miscommunicating. I mean, I've been contacting his mother every day for the past week. I have not contacted my kids since then. The last conversation that I had with my daughter was 2 Fridays ago. We have been trying to get through these visitations, but because of Austin's lack of communication with his mother due to the daycare situation and the jobs, working 2 separate jobs and whatnot, they're having problems with their own transportation. So I was just honestly under the impression that he's just not willing to do it, to be honest.
Your Honor, I have a different perspective from speaking with Austin's mom on how that's going.
Okay. Here's my thought. We're all here right now. I can place Ms. Turnbull and Ms. Myers in what's called a breakout room, and you can have a conversation right now. Ms. Myers, would that work for you?
That would be honestly the best bet, because as of right now, I have no way of being able to drive. I do not have a license, so I physically cannot drive my truck.
All right.
So
Well,
if I were to drive my truck, this is just kind of pointless. I don't have help, and so this would honestly be our best bet.
if I set this for May 3rd, Ms. Turnbull, do you think you'd be able to have your report completed by then?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
That would be 3 weeks. If you need more time, we could go more time.
Okay.
If May 3rd works.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that it may be more appropriate for Ms. Myers to have supervised visitation. I think that it would be helpful to have the feedback from the supervisor. And I think that Ms. Blacklaw, Austin's mom, who has been trying to reach her. I think that originally there was some miscommunication about how to set up the visits, but because they did not have a set time and day. So that was confusing. And when I gave them that, Ms. Blacklaw, that feedback, she has been trying to do that and will, according to Ms. Blacklaw, is trying to say, I'm available at this day, this time. And Ms. Myers is not following through with that contact. Ms. Blacklaw lives 40 minutes away from Hazel. It's becoming, she hasn't said so, but it's clear to me it's becoming a burden. It's not, day after day, Ms. Myers is not following through with that contact.
Okay. I'm not going to order supervised visits at this point. I want to hear your report or read your report. I also want you to meet with Ms. Myers first.
Okay.
So, so the parties know we'll be back here on this case on May 3rd to look at the guardian ad litem report and make any additional decisions. And then Ms. Myers, I'm going to place you and Ms. Turnbull in a separate room. It'll just be the two of you and you can have a conversation. And I encourage you to cooperate to the fullest extent because that's what's going to be helpful to you and the court. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just give me a moment to put that together. All right. Your computer may ask you to accept being placed in the room, so make sure you do that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And Ms. Myers needs to, there we go. Good. All right, Mr. Blacklaw, you're free to leave and we'll see you back here on May 3rd. Okay.
And one more question. Is there any way I can file my taxes with her? That be later time, May 3rd, maybe.
Yeah, I guess we can address that May 3rd. I know it's after the date, but we can address May 3rd. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Okay. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Let's go to Austin Blacklaw and Dakota Myers. And there we go. Looks like we have everybody. All right, Ms. Turnbull, I think we're waiting for your final report.
Yes, Your Honor, and I have essentially completed my investigation. I'm ready to complete my report, but I have not received payment from either party. I have directed them to file a financial declaration if they're unable to pay me. I understand from Mr. Blacklaw that he may have done that yesterday. I have provided the documents for Ms. Myers, but I have not heard if she's or seen if she's done that yet. So I'm not sure where we stand on that front.
Well, let me just ask them now. So, Mr. Blacklaw, are you currently working?
Currently, no. I'm in between jobs.
When do you start the next job?
That should be next week, I believe.
How much are you going to be earning at that job?
I should be around 16 to 17 an hour.
16, 17 an hour?
Yeah.
And how many hours a week are you scheduled for?
I think initiation in the beginning is probably at least 20. So.
Okay, to be 20. Just one moment. I think I need to. I was on 10:30. I haven't gotten to it. Okay. Let them know. It's going to be another probably 20 minutes, and then I'll get to the 10:30, and then I'll do 11. Okay. So if people are calling, let them know. Okay.
But I have side jobs if that counts as anything.
All right. Ms. Myers, can I ask you about your income?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, I am still in the process of trying to find a job. I have had a couple interviews and still waiting on calls back from them. As it stands right now, the paperwork is currently in my glove box, getting ready to go into the courthouse today after the meeting today, and I was going to go drop it off. Is there a specific spot at the courthouse I have to go drop it off, or?
For Ms. Turnbull?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just a financial declaration and motion so that you have the documentation that you need.
Okay. That would go to the clerk's office and would be filed under this case. However, just to help everyone out here, after hearing from both parties, it appears they're currently not working. So I will change the order to make it county pay.
Thank you.
I'm not sure I should make any additional decisions though till I get Ms. Turnbull's final report. So what date do you think that can be ready?
I can have it filed probably by Monday and have it sent.
Well, that means we can
maybe Friday.
On the 17th, May 17th.
Yeah, I might be able to have it to you Friday.
Well, I want the parties to have a chance to read it. And
yep, 2 weeks. Yep, 2 weeks is good. Mm-hmm.
All right. I got a declaration from Mr. Blacklaw's mother expressing a difficulty in the transporting the child, but I'm not going to make a change right now since we're coming back in 2 weeks. I want to see the report and then we'll probably make some adjustments at that point, and I'll take that declaration to consideration at that time. Okay. All right. So let's come back on May 17th then. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So we can go to Blacklaw and Myers, and Ms. Myers, can you unmute yourself now so we can talk to you? Ms. Myers, I see you on the screen. If you're on a phone, you'd have to press *6. If it's a computer, you need to press the mic button. I see your note. There isn't anything that I can do to unmute you. Okay. She's indicating that she's willing to reply to anything through the chat. So I think to go forward, we probably need to do that. Ms. Turnbull, I guess we'll begin with you. You've issued your report, and first of all, Mr. Blacklaw, did you have a chance to read the report?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Myers, did you read Ms. Turnbull's report? Okay, she also read it. Thank you. Ms. Turnbull, maybe I'll turn it over to you to briefly discuss your report.
Well, I think that my recommendations are clear. I have very serious concerns about Hazel's safety if she were to be in mother's care. The abuse that Hazel suffered while she was in mother's care is very concerning. It was extreme, and Hazel is our mom. Ms. Myers is still with the partner who is the likely perpetrator of the abuse against Hazel. She is not acknowledging that, and further crimes were committed subsequent to that abuse against other people. And I think that it's appropriate for Hazel to be in father's care for her safety. And the rest of my outline, my recommendations are in there as follows.
All right, thank you. Mr. Blacklaw, any response?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Myers, any response? I'm going to read what you wrote into the record so that there is a record of it. You've indicated there has not been any charges placed regarding this, and that was not put in the report, was me being jumped. Okay. All right. Have there been telephone and video visits occurring right now with Hazel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Blacklaw, I guess I'm asking you, how have those been going?
They've been interesting. We've been trying to work a good schedule. Monday and Fridays, we typically have them, and sometimes she blows up, sometimes she doesn't, but we've just been carrying on with them. So we've been making them every week, twice a week.
All right.
And you may recall that the prosecuting attorney in Columbia County is still reviewing and asking the investigator, the detective Peabody, for more information. So they are still determining whether they're going to file charges.
Charges against the mother? Or against Mr. Blacklaw?
Both.
Right. Okay.
Not Mr. Blacklaw, Mr. Minyard.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to make a couple decisions today after reading this. So the decisions I'm going to make are temporary. They're a temporary order. Eventually, you need to get to court to get a final order and a permanent order regarding the parenting plan. And it's good that Ms. Turnbull has completed her investigation, because that will be helpful to the court when it gets there. So I want to give some direction on that. I'm going to accept Ms. Turnbull's recommendations in that Mr. Blacklaw will have custody of Hazel Blacklaw, and he'll have full authority to make medical and educational decisions. I am also going to adopt the recommendations that Dakota Myers, one, engage in domestic violence counseling, two, participate in a collateralized mental health evaluation with a parental risk assessment by a PhD level evaluator, three, submit to hair follicle analysis, and four, when she's completed that, then her potential visitation with Hazel can be revisited. The guardian ad litem has suggested that I reconsider the video and telephone visits. I'm going to leave those in place. I don't see where those are creating a safety issue. And I do not want the child to be completely out of contact with her mother. The rest of the recommendations, I believe, are going to need to be addressed at a hearing in front of a judge regarding the final plan. I'm going to put this on the universal trial setting calendar. I'm going to do that for May 31 at 1 o'clock. So both parties need to remember that date. On that date, you will be able to I'm going to set it for a 1-day trial. You will be able to be assigned a judge to obtain a final parenting plan. For the purposes of that, I'm going to waive the requirement that you go to a mandatory settlement conference or a mediation. I don't know that that's going to be successful or helpful in this case. I think this case needs to go directly to a trial. So I'm going to enter an order indicating that. And then I'm not going to set another review in this case. If either party feels there needs to be a review in front of me, you can ask for that, and you do something called noting up the hearing. But at this point, your next hearing will be May 31 at 1 o'clock, at which time you'll get a trial date. Okay, Mr. Blacklaw, any questions?
No, that pretty much covers it for today.
All right. Ms. Myers, any questions from you?
I do have one. Is it okay if I file her on my taxes now?
I think that should be appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Myers, I don't see a. All right. She did write a couple of other things that I want to read into the record so we know what they are. She writes, "Why am I taking domestic violence classes? I have not abused anyone. How is this fair at all? I like how none even asked any of my references." And she said, "I didn't hear you." So part of the domestic violence counseling, and I'll just read what Ms. Turnbull wrote to address that. She's asking that you engage in domestic violence counseling to heal herself and identify the signs of an abuser. The concern, I think, is that Ms. Myers continues to live with Jeremiah, who is the alleged abuser in this case. And so Ms. Turnbull is asking for that as much for Ms. Myers' benefit as anyone else. Okay. All right, then your next day in court then will be May 31 at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
since I know this can be lengthy. I think I see Ms. Turnbull on now. Let's go ahead and take your case. This is number 12 on the docket, 223-00-53808. Mr. Blacklaw, thank you for being here. Dakota Myers, do we have you? Was Ms. Myers present previously when I called this case? Yeah, I don't think I saw that. Okay, let me pull up my digital file here. What I'm showing, my notes are stating that we're here for pretrial management. So if the folks want to let me know what they are needing this court to do today, I do show that you have trial set for the week of July 17th. You have trial readiness July 11th. So technically we'd be doing pretrial today. I don't have the other party present. So let me, I guess, first turn it over to you, Mr. Blacklaw. Are there issues that you believe the court needs to resolve before this goes to trial?
Yes. The phone calls have been completely unreliable. She's given us multiple numbers. She's had the abuser's number listed down. You can hear him in the background. She's having other people on the phone, she's busy talking. And that's not the best for Hazel's sake. And she blew up over the phone when I was there one time, and she was cussing, just slandering my name, everything, while the phone is in Hazel's hand. So that is not okay in my perspective. And also, when I was away taking care of a charge back in 2017, she has threatened my significant other, that, and Hazel resides with her, and she knows that.
Yeah, so sir, let me just stop you there. It sounds to me, and I do note you were not present for the trial setting on May 31st, it sounds like. Right. So you missed that, but what you're bringing up to me right now sounds like factual issues to be resolved at trial. So I want to be very clear. Are you making a request of this court today, or are you simply asking that these issues be resolved at trial?
Today. I would like the phone calls to just stop until she...
Have you filed a motion? Have you sent me any evidence? I don't see anything.
There's a police report about that whole ordeal. She was scared for Hazel's sake and her own kids, and had to file a police report because...
I don't think you're quite understanding where the status of this case is. You have a trial date set. We're here for pretrial. I can't tell based on what you're saying and the fact that the respondent isn't here, whether this truly is in fact ready for trial.
Right.
Ms. Turnbull, I'll turn it over to you. Maybe you can shed some light on this if possible.
I wasn't aware of the more recent allegations, but based on the history of the case, I have made recommendations in the past that the visitation be supervised, and Commissioner Nelson was reluctant to do that. Ms. Myers, I believe, has some mental health and potentially some drug addiction problems that she has been reluctant to seek help for. She's in a domestic violent relationship, and Hazel has been abused in her care. I don't know, it's been an extensive case. I don't know how much time you had to go through it and through my previous reports, but she does have a volatile personality, and I am concerned that what Mr. Blacklaw is reporting sounds like it could be very accurate. So without proof, obviously we can't say, but it is consistent with the nature of the case. And so, you know, like I said, in the past, I have recommended supervised visitations for mom. And I don't know whether mom's ready to go to trial, but she has not been always consistent about showing up for court.
Mhm.
And I don't know that, so I'm not sure if we can, you know, were to delay it or continue it, whether she'd show up next time.
Yeah. Just going back a little bit further, given the statements that have been made. Give me just a minute. So the temporary restraining order for physical interaction, is that still in place?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got that. So they're not seeing each other in person.
No.
That order did allow, that was back in January of 2023, that order did allow telephone visits 2 times per week.
Correct.
And so what you're saying, sir, is that you're wanting that to cease?
Yes. I don't see there being any positive outcome for Hazel's sake.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. I don't take away that that may very well be true. I don't think I have enough information in front of me to make that ruling right now, nor frankly was respondent served with any documents to give her the heads up that we would be addressing that issue today. So I think just under a due process standard, I think certainly, you know, she should be here, let's be honest, but where someone is on notice that their visitation rights might be taken away, they're probably more inclined to show up rather than what this is listed as today as pretrial management, which is a little bit different type of hearing. So my recommendation is she did participate in the trial setting and claims that she's ready for trial the week of July 17th. You folks both have a readiness on July 11th at 11:30 a.m. So I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep those on the calendar.
Yeah.
If you believe on an emergency basis, there should be a new restraining order that takes away, that amends the January restraining order and takes away the telephone visits. If you could file that quickly with the court, we could get you noted on a docket probably end of next week or first part of the week of July 10th before trial.
So exactly what am I going to the courts about?
If you're wanting this court to notify the respondent that we're going to have a hearing to modify the restraining order to take away telephone visits, I would need you to file a request to put it on our family law docket Wednesdays at 9 a.m. You would want to file a request for an amendment to the restraining order, or you can file a new restraining order. And then that does need to be served on her, so she would have notice that that's what we're addressing on that date. I think that's the only way through a due process standard I could really get to that issue. And again, I appreciate Ms. Turnbull's input, and I'm not taking away that what you're saying may very well be true. I think we just need to do it the right way. This request came as a surprise to me, which tells me, she probably would be surprised by this request too. So I think that's all I can do today.
Okay. So there's still phone calls twice a week, video phone.
Yeah, I think at this point, you're going to have to adhere to the orders currently in place. Do you have a way to, are those recorded conversations or?
They're not.
Say that again?
They are not.
They're not.
No.
So my only other recommendation, perhaps to kind of keep things in line, is that you could ask at the start of the phone call whether the other party agrees to be recorded. If they say no, obviously don't record it. If they say yes, though, then you can record it and use it.
Right.
So I think that's the best I can do for you today.
Okay. Is there any way to see if she's in the recommendations and got the hair follicle test or any of the treatments that she's supposed to?
I'm not aware that she's done anything. She hasn't let me know.
Yeah, DV counseling was ordered. I'm showing mental health evaluation, hair follicle testing. When mother has completed those, she can revisit in-person visitation, excuse me. Telephone and video visitation to continue until then. So, I think that's kind of the status quo, because I don't have any newly filed evidence from you, sir, or from her. So I really can't make any changes today.
Okay.
You were not at trial setting. Are you prepared to go to trial July 17th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think is that the 11th or the 17th?
The 17th, the week of the 17th.
Okay.
So they'll
Your
let
Honor,
you
is
know.
that trial over Zoom or do we need to appear in person?
Let me ask, are they doing those over Zoom?
I think at readiness, they talk about that.
Okay. So the court's just informed me that on your readiness hearing, which is July 11th at 11:30, they can
Okay.
talk to you about in-person versus Zoom versus hybrid.
And that's at 11:30?
11:30 readiness. And that is by Zoom, correct? Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I would also like to request some additional hours, as this is a county pay case as well.
Yes. And I'll ask you the same question I asked the last individual. Do you know off the top of your head if there's a form Commissioner Nelson used for that, or did he simply do a bench order, or do you know?
I believe he did a bench order.
Okay. And I think I do see your motion and declaration back in May for the extension.
Yes. And so that covered my hours. I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that covered my hours up through the report. So this would be additional time for the trial, essentially. These hearings in the trial.
Okay. And the new, Rick, I guess probably review of the new evaluations and hair follicle results and.
Yes, assuming she does some.
Assuming, yeah. Okay. I will try to track down today what that order might look like and get it drafted and signed.
Thank you.
I'll just make a note to myself here on this case. Okay. Okay. And certainly, sir, again, if you need to renote to address the restraining order, you can do that. You would just need to make sure that she's served with whatever documents you're sending here.
Okay.
Okay.
And that would be to the courthouse.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Your Honor. And thank you, Amy, for showing up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Turnbull. All right. I know everyone else has been patiently waiting, so I'm just going to go in order of how I have you on the docket now. I have number 9, 19-300660008, Brandy McKenna and Ronnie McKenna.